Hi, welcome along to AFTV. We are here for a Transfer Daily extra update on the transfer situation. Of course, it is deadline day, and
we're active.
We're active, as they say. Douglas Luiz seems to be the player that Arsenal are actively trying to buy. The news sort of came out earlier on this morning that Arsenal are in for Douglas Luiz. We all know about the injuries to Mohamed El Neni, also to Thomas Partey, and we're short in that area for a defensive midfielder. Douglas Luiz, of course, he was there last night, scored the goal for Aston Villa. Let me just tell you a little bit about him. Brazilian, 24 years old. Mikel Arteta knows him because he used to be at Manchester City before he went to Aston Villa. Defensive midfielder, but can also play a bit further forward as well. Can be quite a creative player and scored a great corner yesterday. Yeah. It's the second one he scored like that as well. You know what I mean? A very talented player and said to be worth around about 20 to 30 million pounds. Now, he's got 1 year left on his current contract. Aston Villa at the moment are saying they don't want to sell him, but all the reports are that Arsenal this morning submitted a bid for £20 million for him, which was turned down. And I've just been reading from David Ornstein and also from Fabrizio Romano that Arsenal have gone back in or are planning to go back in with another bid. They're really pushing to get the player. Villa are saying that he's not for sale. The rumours is that Douglas Luiz really wants to come to Arsenal. This is going to be one of those that's going to go all the way, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, Aston Villa rejected our first offer, our first approach, so we're going back in again. It's interesting because he's got a year left, so Aston Villa's whole approach of we're going to hold on to him, it doesn't really make sense to me because, you might as well get value from the player now. I think they paid rough.
Because, when you look at it, come January, he can talk to any club around Europe and, sign a pre-contract. His value will drop. Like, if they're talking about 20 million for him now, they'd be lucky to get 10 million for him in January, wouldn't they? And the other thing I was thinking about the other day, Turkish, right? This season is a bit different because normally, right, when the window closes now, you've got September, October, November, December, right? 4 months till you get to January.
Jam-packed.
But with the World Cup in there now, this season, you can literally take 6 weeks out of that, almost 2 months out of that, literally in a couple of months' time. Then we got the World Cup, then we come back on Boxing Day with games, then the January transfer window opens. So what value would Villa get out of just trying to hold on to a player that might go in January anyway?
100%. And Aston Villa spent quite a bit of money over the last few years and they haven't started the season well. So they should be looking to recoup some funds for their players. I know they got the 100 million for Grealish last year, but Aston Villa have been, somewhat smart in the transfer window. And I think it would be smart for them to get something for Luiz. I think they're really pushing it with Arsenal. They know that with Partey injured, El Neni injured, we really need to do something. And that's why they probably rejected our first approach. But listen, I'm actually quite happy with Douglas Luiz. When we went into the summer, I wanted to prioritise that number 8 position, but we all know about Thomas Partey's injuries, and we need a backup for Thomas Partey. And then they signed the 1 year extension, and we thought, all right, that'll do for a year. But if you actually offered me Douglas Luiz in the first few weeks of the window as a backup to Thomas Partey, I would have taken him. Yes, now we're looking at him to come into the midfield because Partey is injured. But in the big scheme of things, if Partey returns and finally finds his fitness and consistency, then we've got a good backup in Douglas Luiz.
A player that can actually offer competition. He's Brazilian, so he's going to fit right in. We saw the pictures of him talking to Jesus at the end of the game. Edu will know him. And as I said, Arteta knows him. Actually, Arteta knows him from his time at Man City.
When he signed for Manchester City, there was a couple years of work permit issues. And after the first year, Edu actually sent in a video backing him up, saying, he's a top quality young player. He should get his work permit, but he was denied again, hence why he never appeared for Manchester City. So Edu does know a bit about him already. Yeah,
and he's a quality player. Listen, defensive midfielder, but good on the ball, good passing range, but also tough tackling. I mean, he would be perfect. That is what he is, a defensive midfielder, and that's what we need. So it's going to be down to what Villa do. And I'm like with you. I know these words keep coming out of Villa that they're insisting that he's not for sale, but then why have they gone and signed Dendoncker from Wolves? Why would they do that if they're insisting that they're keeping Douglas Luiz? It just don't add up for me. I think they're pushing, like you said, to get the highest price because they know that Arsenal are desperate for a defensive midfielder.
100%, because you look at Aston Villa's midfield, they've got quality in midfield already. So for them to add Dendoncker, it means there must be something going on. It means that they're going to let him go. They just want a few extra mil.
And he didn't start last night, did he, Douglas Luiz?
No.
Came off the bench.
He's only started a couple this season, the Bournemouth loss and the game before the Arsenal one.
Yeah. So I don't know. How would you rate this one, like as something that could happen? I definitely think it's up there in the 7, 8 out of 10 that this could happen before the end of the transfer window, which shuts tonight at 11 p.m. I think there's something in this.
So this transfer alone, out of nowhere, the quality that Douglas Luiz possesses, his record as well, over the last 3 years, he's started 32 games, 31 games, 28 games. So that bodes well.
Yeah.
I think that's 7 out of 10.
Yeah, 7 out of 10 that this could happen. The other one that looks like is going to be happening is Hector Bellerin. Looks like he's finally going to be leaving Arsenal. It looks like Arsenal have agreed, but with mutual consent with him, to terminate his contract, which then looks like he's going to then move on a free to Barcelona. Another player that Barcelona get off of us for absolutely nothing, although the rumour is Arsenal have inserted some sort of clause which would mean that any sort of future sell-on, they would get some money off of
25%.
it because probably Barcelona looking to only give him a year contract. But it'd be a good move for Hector Bellerin, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he's done all right for himself.
He's
actually done it out of nowhere. What happened to this old Real Betis? I want to go back there and all that. We're letting him go for free now, and he's choosing Barcelona. Barcelona will feel it now in the next couple of years.
No miss for you?
No, Rob, it's about
Times
time.
have gone, innit?
Yeah, it's about time. Listen, it is what it is with Hector. It didn't work out. Good young prospect. It got dry, it got stale. Now move on and forget about it. We're in a good place right now, so let's just get rid of these fringe players that we know are not part of this.
Yeah. The other thing that's quite interesting, no movement on Yuri Tielemans, which has been we've been linked with him all summer, right? And we're down to the deadline day and absolutely no talk of a move as of yet. You never know, it's still time, but no move for Yuri Tielemans. Of course, Leicester are playing tonight as well. They're playing against Manchester United. If he's in that lineup, that deal's definitely not going to happen.
Yeah, honestly, now we're here on the last day with a few hours left of the window. I think we only had the capacity to get one more in terms of finances, whether that was Neto, Tielemans, or the injury crisis in the number 6 position forcing our hand. I think we only had the resources for one player. Mikel Arteta was asked about finances, and he said he's not a finance man. It's not up to him. He just identifies the player, and we go for it. So, it is what it is.
Disappointing that maybe they might not be going in for another winger as well. There was all the Pedro Neto rumours and that. But I guess with some of these deals, it's a bit like what we saw in January, innit? They're not going to be pushed into buying players they don't want. And they're prepared to wait. They're prepared to say, right, you know what? If we can't get, say, for instance, Pedro Neto is a target and we can't get him now, we'll have another look in January. And if not, we'll go back next year. Yeah,
listen, I get it. The last 2 summer transfer windows, it's filled me with a lot more confidence than a couple of years ago, that's for sure. But what it is about this season, it's the 3rd year of the process. I keep saying it because it's facts. It's the 3rd year, and I think now we've got to start delivering. And by delivering, I mean top 4 is the next step. And I don't want another season where a couple injuries derails the whole season or derails the end of the season for us, which has been the case for the last couple. Right now, with 5 wins out of 5, I'm not focused as much as I have been in the past on the deadline day and the need for depth in certain positions.
And they've made signings. They've made signings early and they've been in place, which makes your, transfer business easier. You're not as desperate. They are desperate for a defensive midfielder, but that's only because of circumstances we know that's been out of their control. So they've done good business so far. Let's see if they can complete it today by getting a Douglas Luiz done and maybe possibly another surprise. You never know. They could, if Villa play complete hardball, you may see Arsenal move for somebody else, maybe a loan. I don't know who that is at the moment, but you never know. It's transfer deadline day. Anything can be plucked out of the hat.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, again, Arteta and Edu last week insinuated that there's still business to be done, and that was before Partey and his injuries.
Yeah.
Douglas Luiz is coming because of Partey and his injuries. So what was that business they was thinking about last week? Was it the Neto? Was it the Tielemans? Let's hope we find out.
Yeah. All right, well, let's see. Listen, we're going to keep you updated on all of this here on AFTV. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn your notifications on. Anything that happens, we are sitting there, we are waiting, we're going to break it live. So keep it locked here on AFTV. But at the moment, just giving you an update, it's Douglas Luiz. That is the player that Arsenal are trying to sign from Aston Villa. Defensive midfielder, Brazilian, 24 years of age. That is the player that Arsenal are trying to sign, and it looks like Hector Bellerin has gone. By the way, just to also say, Ainsley Maitland-Niles has left. He has joined Southampton. So he's gone out on loan to Southampton. They've got an option to buy on him as well. So basically, it's going to be a brand new team here. Trust me, that you're going to be seeing playing at the Emirates. But we'll keep you updated with anything happens here on AFTV. Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.